Hi, this is Andy from GPS Training. In this video we wanted to give you a nice cost-effective solution to give you a couple of products that you could take out trail running with you that give you a GPS watch with lots of data on your wrist, turn notifications if you're following a route, an off-course alert, but also a device that has Ordnance Survey mapping on the screen, very detailed 1 to 25 mapping, but still light and compact for your trail running. It's sort of a quandary that we get asked by a lot of customers who are just going out to start trail running and maybe for the first time, and they're looking at GPS equipment to purchase, and they'll often start with looking at just a watch only, but one of the criteria is to have a colour screen with maps because they're going to use the watch for navigation. But they soon realise that even though we can have some reasonable maps on a watch, and we can get open source maps that will give you more detail than some of the pre-installed Garmin maps, it's still not an Ordnance Survey 1 to 25 map that we're used to using in Great Britain in the hills when we want that extra detail. So we can't get the Ordnance Survey 1 to 25 maps on a watch, but we can get a colour screen. Is that going to be enough? And then we've got to look at the cost as well. So I know some customers will look at potentially buying something like the Epix 2 Pro I've got in the middle here, which retails at $849.99. It could be something like a Fenix 7X watch, which the Fenix 7X is £800. So again, it's a high value watch to get that big colour screen with a good battery, but we're still not getting Ordnance Survey maps. But I know customers really like when they're trail running, seeing stats on the wrist, seeing that information about how you're doing, distances, speed, elevation data, could be heart rate data, VO2 max data, all that useful information, and actually get the alerts on your wrist if you go off course or there's a turn coming up that you might miss on the handheld device, because you do get a vibration alert on the watches. So a way to keep costs down and still have a device that has Ordnance Survey maps, our thoughts were to look at something like the Instinct 2 Solar watch that I've got from Garmin here on the right. And the reason we went for the little 2nav rock unit is down to the size of it. It's really compact and light, but has still a lovely bright screen with Ordnance Survey 1 to 25 maps. These two items together come out price-wise at £749.98, so they're actually £100 cheaper than the watch on its own. So the Epix 2 Pro 51mm watch currently is £849.99, so these two devices together are going to work out cheaper. The Instinct 2 watch is £299.99 for the solar one, and the 2nav rock, the handheld device with full Ordnance Survey 1 to 25 mapping for all of Great Britain, that is the more detailed Explorer maps with field boundaries, is £449.99. So I'm just going to give you a feel about how I've been using these for trail running and why I've looked at the sort of two separate devices rather than necessarily the Epix 2 Pro, which, don't get me wrong, is a brilliant watch, has absolutely loads of features on it, but it's just looking at an option where you've got Ordnance Survey maps and keeping costs down and still having a watch. So the obvious thing on the Epix 2 watch is we have a colour screen with colour maps, and I can actually see this lovely pink line to follow with the white arrows showing you how you go around and follow that route. You will get the course alerts telling you when there's turns coming up and telling you if you go off course, and of course lots of big colourful data boxes. We can play music directly from the Epix 2 Pro watch, which I can't do on an Instinct, but the Instinct still has some of the smart features. We can use it for Garmin Pay, and you still get your phone notifications coming through on the Instinct 2. But what we're really going to look is sort of looking at data boxes and useful information on the watch rather than some of the additional smart features that you're paying extra money for, and obviously not the colour screen, just to see what you get and how you can use that when you're out trail running. So I'm just going to move the Epix watch to the side now, and I'll just pull in the Instinct 2 Solar. So the Instinct 2 Solar is the one with the solar panel, just to give us that extended battery life, and it's actually the solar one that has the Garmin Pay. So if you do like the fact you can use a watch to pay when you haven't got your wallet with you and you're out trail running, you can add Garmin Pay to the solar version, which the non-solar does not have. So I'm actually just going to load the same route that I had on the other two devices onto this watch and just start the recording. So what we've got on the watch is just a black line on the screen to follow. So basically, as we move and we go outside, our black triangle will move over the black line, and that's our route line. So we don't have the detailed colour map. But what we will get once I'm outside with the GPS signal, I do actually get a directional arrow point me in the direction I need to go to the next bit on the route, and you will get distances to turns at the top of the watch face as well. So it is going to give you a navigational experience, just not the same as a colour map. The nice thing we like with having the watch, it will give you turn alerts that we don't get on the handheld. So even though the handheld is very good at telling us we went off course, and you have a very loud sounder on it, if you do have the sounder turned on the Rock, it doesn't do the turn alerts unless you mark special road map points it turns. But that is where the watch comes into its own. It'll tell you when there's turns coming up. But really what I'm using the watch for is, I'm going to just go down some of the data boxes. So it's got time of day, of course it is a watch. It'll show me an elevation graph coming up, so I can see this all on my wrist without having to get the handheld out, which is really useful when you're using something like poles as well. It's reading my heart rate just through my finger on the back of the heart rate sensor there, so I will get heart rate information. I've set one of the boxes up to display heart rate. I've got boxes that give me estimated time en route, distance remaining, estimated time of arrival. Brilliant when you're following a course, especially if you want an organised event, a challenge, a timed event. I've got a timer set, so it tells me how long I've been going for. It'll tell me distance to get onto the, how far I've travelled, should I say. So it's a distance trip log, e-cent information, elevation data, my speed and average speed, heart rate would be a big graph there, and back to the map. You can add lots of extra data boxes as well, or data screens to your heart's content to really personalise the watch. It'll measure, of course, I've mentioned your heart rate, the VO2. It measures sleep, stress levels, steps. So it is a fitness device as well as the navigation. The smart features are really the getting notifications through from your phone if someone was to call you, and that you can use the Garmin Pay. We can't play music on the Instinct 2 watch. It does have, if I just come off the navigation here, it does have a load of timers, stopwatches, etc. And I'm just going to come back to the standard watch face. You get loads of choices of watch faces that you can put on using the Connect app. It's solar powered, so that does increase the battery. I will talk about the battery life on both units. We can get weather data when it's paired with the phone, and it'll give us some weather data as well, so you can look at information like that. It's telling me sunset and sunrise, when sunset and sunrise is going to be. I'm just keep getting on course and off course notifications, apologies, as it's locking onto satellites, because we're inside the building here and haven't got a clear view of the sky. That's why I keep getting those alerts. I can get step data, heart rate, body battery. It'll measure my sleep, tell me how my sleep's been doing, link to calendars, notifications if someone was to ring you, or messages. And it does have ABC, altimeter, compass, and barometric data. So it's got a altimeter, barometric sensor and a compass built in. And I'm just going to go back out of there and back onto the navigation. So yes, we haven't got the colour maps on the screen, but we have got the line to follow. So you're still getting a lot of stats on your wrist. So when I use the Instinct 2, generally I want to use a handheld device with colour maps on. So I'm just going to move the Instinct 2 to the side now and look at the little Rock unit. So the Rock unit only weighs 120 grams. It only measures 90 millimeters high, 58 millimeters across widthwise, and 20 mil depth. So it's a nice compact unit. You hardly know you're carrying it. It's got a built-in battery. You charge it from a little magnetic connection that goes on the back. It does actually have a bike mount as well if you are going to mount it on a pedal bike. So it is touchscreen and button control. So generally the touchscreen we're using for moving this lovely detailed Ordnance Survey map around. You can set it so it recenters automatically, or I've got a little tab where we can touch to recenter it. Red triangle shows where I currently am, and the route that I've loaded, I've picked a colour yellow and black, which is nice and clear. The nice thing is with this unit, you can pick different colours for your routes and different thicknesses depending what you'd prefer, but it's a really nice clear route line that I'm going to follow with a very detailed Ordnance Survey map. We can have data boxes on the screen here or make it a full-size map if we don't want the data boxes along the bottom. We do have some push button control. It does actually have buttons on the side to zoom in and zoom out, so we can zoom in and out using buttons on the side. I've actually hidden the plus and minus on the screen, which you can do, but you can't actually tap on the screen to zoom in and out, but I tend to prefer the buttons. That was my personal choice. We've got buttons on the bottom of the unit that let us scroll through data boxes. So very like the watch, you can set up data boxes to give you information about distance and speed, elevation graph coming up. It has a compass and barometric altimeter. I've set up one data box really big to give me my current Ordnance Survey grid reference and back to the map. If I want to lock the screen, because it is a touch screen, I don't want it accidentally moving, I can actually just simply tap a button on the side of the unit. It's locked but still turned on, and I have to press the power button once to bring it back on. Battery life is around 18 hours on the 2nav Rock. It's IP67 rated. It's absolutely fine outside in all weathers, and it'll go down to -20. I should have mentioned the battery life on the Instinct 2 Solar. If you haven't got any sunlight on the screen, it's generally about 30 hours with GPS recording only. It will use a bit more battery if you use GPS and Galileo, if you're using like dual satellites for a bit more accuracy. You can squeeze up to 48 hours with solar if you've got 3 hours of 50,000 lux sunlight a day on your wrist. So the solar will increase that battery life when you're recording, but both of them have got great battery life. And of course the Instinct 2 watch is designed for the outdoors with a weatherproof IP rating and military tested as well to the 810 standard. So they're both tough units designed for the outdoors. But I hope this video has just given you an idea of sort of thinking about things in a different way. If you've been thinking about only a watch with a colour screen, or should you buy a watch and a device with Ordnance Survey maps on, and it's just keeping the cost down. So again, if you were to buy these two together, it means you've got all the stats on your wrist with the alerts when turns are coming up or off course, and also the detailed Ordnance Survey maps. The two together come out at $749.98, and where we're comparing it as an example, if you had went to one of the high-end watches like the Epix 2 Pro from Garmin, 51mm version that I've got on the right, it would have cost, it does cost $849.99, or something like a Fenix 7X, which again is a big watch with a big colour screen, is $799.99. So we're trying to give you an option where you've got two products coming in slightly lower than the big colour screen watches, but giving you all that useful information when you're out trail running, and a device with detailed Ordnance Survey maps. So I hope this has helped in some way. There's more information and full technical specs on all of these products on the gpstraining.co.uk website. GPS store, we have the section on GPS watches and handheld devices, and then on each of these devices you'll find videos on them as well as the full specs. And remember, if you do buy any of these products from GPS Training, you do get our full gold support package free for a year, email and telephone support from ourselves, and many videos that we've put together on our own online training course that cover using all of the products. Well, you will get access to all those videos. So again, I hope you found this video useful, and thanks for watching.